Explain about inheritance in Java.
Inheritance enables us to derive the parent class features into child class.
This guy mucked up the answer. Let me test him again. What is the difference between interface and inheritance? Yeah, I'm right. He is a blah blah guy.
What did you notice? I will give you some time. Think of it for 2 seconds. That candidate is underconfident. Do you agree with me? Say the answer to yourself. Do you agree with me? Yes or no or doubtful? I could read your minds. Most of you are doubtful that if the candidate is really underconfident or not. Okay. How do I know that that candidate is underconfident? Or how can I prove it to you on this stage? If you go back and look at that video carefully, let me tell you that candidate is leaning forward. He is very tensed. You can see it on his face. And while giving his answers, he was not able to deliver those answers smoothly. And while answering, he is using broken sentences. That means his communication is not clear. And repetition of words is observed. I gave you 5 observations. And the interviewer is quick enough to realize that. If you look at this screenshot, you could clearly see that all the characteristics that were mentioned here under this underconfident category are applicable to that candidate, to this candidate who was seen in this scenario. Okay, I showed this slide to you during the start of in the introduction session itself. Okay, this candidate is underconfident, but why? Any guesses? In an interview, if the candidate feels himself to be underconfident, it's only because of 3 reasons. Okay, I will list down those 3 reasons. First one, it may be due to fear. Second one, it may be due to pressure. Third one may be a combination of both fear and pressure. These are only 3 reasons which makes a candidate feel underconfident in an interview. And if you observe that video carefully, after the first answer itself, that interviewer made up her mind that this fellow or this candidate is underconfident. By looking at his posture itself, interviewer was quick enough to judge that this candidate is underconfident. She didn't even listen to the answer completely. That's the level of an interviewer, and that's the reason she is sitting in that interviewer position. Okay. Now, here is an interesting analysis. I have a question to you, all of you. In the previous scenario, do you think that this candidate doesn't know the answer? If you think so, you are mistaken. Okay, actually, he knows the answer, but due to pressure or fear, any of the reasons, he is not able to present it well. And presentation is not the right word. He is not up to that level. Even he is not able to deliver it well. The answer is not coming from his mouth freely. And why did it happen like this? Understand carefully. In my research, I found that more than 90% of the BTech students are like this. They are not able to speak freely in front of the panel. Why? Why is it happening? Let me give you a background. It may happen to any of the candidates. Even it may happen to you who are watching this video with all the dedication and commitment that I want an IT job at any cost. even to you also it may happen. Why? It happens when you don't understand the interview process and you are not following a right approach. Okay, then it happens like this. Firstly, you have to remember 2 points. It is an interview, and second point is these are not your semester end examinations. Let me repeat it for you. This is an interview, and second point is these are not your semester end examinations. If you plan to do a night out and thinking of coming to the interview next day and performing in those 20 to 25 minutes, it is not going to happen. It will not work at any cost. You have to prepare well in advance. Your planning should be like, in June I will be preparing for Java, in July I will be preparing for data structures. Likewise, you have to plan. But most of the students, when I say most, more than 90% of the students will be wasting their time on social media and other platforms like watching Netflix and spending time on Facebook and Insta Reels and all these things. And finally, 1 week before the interview, they realize that this interview is very important to us. Okay, then what will they do? They will start searching. They will start searching for important interview questions in Java on internet. Likewise, they will search important questions for each subject on the internet. They will get a list of questions. They will mug up answers for all these questions without actually understanding the concepts. And this mugging up gives the pressure. Why? Once you mug up, you have to memorize the answer. You can memorize a small formula, but you cannot memorize the whole concept. That too, not one concept. You have to memorize all the concepts from one subject, second subject, third subject, and the list goes on. It will not happen practically. And finally, what happens? These students will spoil the interview, like the candidate which we have seen in the previous scenario, what he did. Likewise, all the students will spoil their opportunities. See, human brain is designed in such a way that it can store and retrieve the information only if it understands the composition of that information or data. Without actually understanding the concept, if you simply mug up, when a question is put to you, your brain cannot work properly and cannot retrieve the information what you have mugged up. Let me explain you. If you don't know what the concept is, its background, its application and all, your brain will not be able to store all that information. So, understand and analyze the concept thoroughly, and that gives you confidence. Simply speaking, understanding gives you confidence, while mugging up gives you pressure. When your confidence is high, your presentation will be superb. But instead, if you mug up and if the pressure is high, your performance will come down. It will bring down your performance drastically. That's what you have seen in the previous scenario. Okay, it's quite natural, right? Finally, you will screw up the opportunity. Listen, I'm saying you will screw up the opportunity, not the interview. Hope you understand. Okay, it all happens with the last minute preparation. So, avoid last minute preparation and prepare well in advance for an interview. Arey yaar, after all, it is an interview, yaar. It's a defining moment of your career. It's a defining moment of your life. You have to be little careful. Okay, so plan for your preparation in well advance and don't mug up. Understand and analyze the concepts thoroughly.
What is the Microsoft Azure certification?
This certification tests the knowledge of cloud services and how these servers are provided with Azure.
Really promising. He did vendor specific and much critical Azure certification while in the college itself. How do we manage pricing in cloud?
The data is managed and maintained remotely, for which users pay monthly as per to their usage.
This guy is very good and stands up to the certification. Can you write a piece of code for optimization? Super positive feedback for candidate.
What happened? Firstly, that candidate did a vendor specific certification in Microsoft Azure. Okay. And then this one is important. The candidate is tested if he has the knowledge that was proportional to his degree. And when I say knowledge, not any piece of knowledge. He has done that certification, right? Azure certification. He's tested if he had the knowledge that was proportional to the level of that Azure certification. He answered well, okay, he had it. And look, that interviewer, how careful he was. Okay, this candidate has the theoretical knowledge, but what about the practical knowledge? He wanted to test that one also. That's the reason the candidate was asked to write a code for a specific implementation. This candidate has written it, and it also went well. And then only that interviewer entered or given a super positive feedback for that candidate. That means this candidate will be offered a job 100%. They will not miss them. See, now my question is, all your classmates and college mates will be applying for the more or less same job profile or the same job opening. And what makes you so special that the interviewer will be going to pick only you? What makes you so special? He may pick any one of your classmates, right? Why should he hire only you? Okay, let me put it in a different way. Why should the interviewer or the company hire only you? You should have an answer for that question. Okay, why should a company hire you? Don't tell generic answers like I'm extraordinary, I'm brilliant, I'm energetic. All these generic answers don't work. You should have a specific attribute that makes you so special. As you have seen in this scenario, that candidate who while in the college itself he has done a vendor specific certification, that makes him so special. As I told you in the earlier sessions, interviewer makes a decision by looking at you and your resume in the initial 1 to 2 minutes. So you should make a strong impact over there itself. That means you have to build a strong resume or solid resume. Your resume should speak in front of the panel. That means your resume should have a special attribute or a special characteristic featured in it. Then the panel gets attracted to you or your profile, so that the panel favors your selection, it cuts off the competition, and all of these tend to happen. The same thing I mentioned it in a chapter called Extra Mile in my book. If you haven't read it yet, go and read it. Okay, you have to drive an extra mile so that you will beat all your competitors and you will stand tall. That's what this fellow did. Being in the final year of the college itself, he has done a vendor specific certification. Why would a company leave candidates like that, boss? Companies will be eager to attract those profiles. Okay. Only thing he has to be careful is that he should have the knowledge regarding that technology. It's not like simply I have done a certification, but I don't know anything about Microsoft Azure. That attitude won't work. But if you are really passionate and having a certification in that domain, and you have the proportionate knowledge, then you'll be like, it will be cakewalk for you for entering into a company. Panel will favor your selection like anything. Only thing is, you should have subject knowledge and you should be able to implement it in a practical setup. Both are equally important. If you take care of that, that's enough.
You are very good at your core skills. Then why do you prefer IT?
I will leave the company as soon as I get a core job.
Unfit for us.
See, this is the problem with core engineers. Okay, core engineers means other than CSC and IT, non-CS backgrounds like EEE, ECE, civil, mechanical, all these areas. See, due to lack of jobs in their home sectors, they have chosen IT. They have chosen IT field for getting a job. Okay. They have walked into the interview room. After coming here, as they belong to non-CS departments, this interviewer asks some basic questions related to their home department, say civil or EEE or mechanical, something. These people will be extremely pumped up while answering these questions. Okay, they will be charged up and they're all excited. Sensing that positive energy and excitement, this interviewer asks, you are so good at core skills, why do you choose an IT job? Then what should this candidate do? He is supposed to say that there are no jobs over there, I am seeking, so I came for IT, or something, I am willing to work for IT, or something like that. Instead, this fellow told like, I didn't get a core job, but soon after getting a core job, I will make a switch. Would anyone say like that? Or if any candidate gives an answer like this, will that interviewer be ready to take that person? If you are sitting in that panel, will you be ready to take that candidate and consider him for a job, IT job? No, right? He will think that, okay, even if I recruit this candidate, after getting a core job, he will leave the company. IT companies or any companies for that matter look for long-term commitment. Okay, even you have an idea inside you, within you, that I will work for 3 months and then I will leave the company for any other reason. You should present like, I'll work for 5 years and I'm looking forward to become the team leader, or I'll work for 10 years and I'm looking forward to become the project manager. You should present yourself like that in front of the panel. Instead, if you say that if I get a better job, better opportunity, I will make a move. Of course, you will do that, but you should not expose those things in front of the panel. If you do that, he will not be ready to hire you. Okay.
Can you write a program for calendar which could handle a leap year?
Yes, sir.
Her approach is good, but logic went wrong somewhere. Let me give her one more chance. Can you write a program to print Fibonacci series?
Sure, sir.
What happened? What did you notice? I'll give you some time. Think of it. If you could sense anything, see, that interviewer asked her a question, candidate. Okay, and she responded to that question with a program. That interviewer went through the code, and first thing, she liked her approach, but that code didn't live up to the expectations of the interviewer, which means there are some mistakes. Then what happened? He offered her another chance. That means he asked her to write another program. And look at the attitude of that candidate. How did she respond? Without any hesitation, she immediately wrote the second program and gave it to the interviewer. Okay, and again that interviewer went through the code and he liked her approach very much, but she's committing small mistakes. For suppose, if you want to understand, like not giving the semicolon or not closing the bracket, not incrementing or decrementing the counter in the loop properly, she's committing some small mistakes. Now interviewer has to make a decision at this juncture whether to pick her or not, and interviewer is double-minded, what to do. And then interviewer voted for her solving technique rather than the actual solution. Okay, and he offered her a job. Yeah, no wonders, it happens all the time. Interviewer is of the opinion that though she is doing some mistakes, but she will pick up and improve improve her coding skills. That means she could cover all her mistakes after being onboarded and introduced into the mainstream program. Okay, he's of that opinion. He believed her and he gave her the job. He is of the opinion that being in the college, this girl writes the code occasionally, so mistakes are tend to happen. Once she is part of the professional programming environment, she will be able to cover up all those mistakes and produce flawless code. He believed that, because how could he take that decision? He took the decision based on her solving technique. I told, after writing the program for the first time and the second time, interviewer liked her solving technique. In other words, it is the approach. In which approach, like how she is approaching to solve the problem. Like that. Here, as a candidate, you only think always in one dimension, that is to give the correct answer, but the interviewer thinks in two dimensions. First one is, he also expects a correct answer, but the other one is, he checks your approach. That means how you are approaching to solve a problem. In other words, it is the solving technique. He checks for that also. Now the question is, how to improve this solving technique or approach. See, for that you need to do three things, simple things. First one, you need to concentrate on your basics. Second thing, you need to analyze the concepts thoroughly, technical concepts. Third thing, this is the most important, you need to practice more. This practicing refines your approach and makes it one of the best. Okay, that's it.